Our prepared speeches. Our first speaker is giving his icebreaker, and the icebreaker rules are very simple. Basically, we really want to get the person to speak on something they're very comfortable with, of course, which is their personal background. And there is no time limit. There's some suggestions in terms of timing, but you cannot run beyond the time that you can in some of the following speeches. Sam Pringle, who is our first speaker, will be speaking to us today on the subject of how he met his wife. And again, I mentioned it is in his speech number 1, the icebreaker. Sam comes to us as a student of NPS and is a closet Trekkie, he tells me. He can recite almost all the lines of Star Wars. I'm not sure if he can wrap that into a political discussion, but he's a loving husband, at least that's what his wife tells him, and the father of 2 lovely boys. Please join me in welcoming Sam Pringle.
Falling in love is a sweet ambition. Finding true love is a lifetime mission. Take my word, follow the Indian tradition, and marry your dad's decision. How I met my wife. Well, my wife was going to an interview at Albany State College, Georgia, in an office that my dad happened to be working in. Well, the interviewer for her was late, so he asked my dad to entertain her, and he did. And in the process of making her comfortable until the interview showed, he managed to find out where she lived, and she happened to live the same place that I did, and somehow he managed to work in to give her my phone number. Well, she graciously took the phone number, but she had no intention of giving me a call. Well, a couple of days after the interview, she mailed the letter back to my dad, thanking him for being gracious, and my dad, lo and behold, sent a letter back to her and said, "Oh well, basically, you're welcome. Did you call my son?" Well, she hadn't at that point, but very fortunate for me, she talked to her girlfriend, and she suggested that she give me a call, and eventually she did. Well, during the course of a couple phone calls, we managed to work in a date during homecoming weekend. Well, my cousin Pee-wee, his name is Linward, by the way, but my cousin Pee-wee had a homecoming party that Friday night. But she wasn't able to make it because her friends were coming into town that weekend. Well, that following Saturday, we decided that following Saturday to work in a date. Well, I picked her up, brought her over to my place. Lo and behold, my dad was waiting on her, unbeknownst to her. Well, he was just thrilled to see her, and she was kind enough to be just as thrilled to see him. And my father worked in a date, out of all places, at a family party, a homecoming party that what my cousin Dee Dee was giving. Well, it was the first date with my family, with no one she knew. But it turned out well. She acted as if she enjoyed herself, and she did. And we ended the night, out of all places, that following evening at Dunkin' Donuts with the coffee. And that followed that Sunday to our attending church. Well, we continued to call each other and go out, and you know the rest of the story. But if you ask my wife, I was supposed to be the rebound man. But obviously I was the man. Capital THEMAN, because obviously after 13 years, I'm still here. Well, we well,